Hello, Floridians. Are you ready? Are you ready to change the needs of the Floridians that have not been met? My name is Dr. Neelam Perry, and I'm running for United States Senate on August 18th, 2026, as a Republican in the primary. So please come out and vote for me.
As a physician, you've spent your career diagnosing problems and finding solutions. How has your medical background shaped an approach to public service and government leadership?
Well, being a physician has been the main motivating factor for me to run for this election. As a physician, I always fought for the patients, for getting their medications, getting insurance approvals. I'm an infectious disease and an HIV specialist. I specialized when AIDS was an epidemic. I was trained at Memorial Sloan Kettering in New York, and I am a virologist. During my fellowship, I was awarded the first prize from the American College of Physicians for my research in HIV. The reason it's relevant now is HIV is an RNA virus, and so is COVID, and now we're suspecting Hanta. So, my training and my education in RNA virology helps me fight bioterrorism so that appropriate laws can be made for the people. We had a disaster of the recommendations given during the COVID epidemic last time because Dr. Fauci is a public health physician. And it was then when I realized that I knew it better because every day I would write on social media and President Trump would give his State of Union address, and every day, verbatim, he would say what I would say in my social media comments. And that encouraged me at that time. But being a physician not only encouraged me to help other people, realizing that the government does not have that expertise with the lawmakers, creating so many other problems. As luck would have it, I had a medical issue myself. I had a stroke and I was denied the treatment that I needed. As a physician, I knew which medication would work, but it was $1,000 a dose. I was put in a rehab. I was paralyzed on my right side and could not do anything. I thought that was the end of life. But my mom helped. We got the medication from an outside doctor. I self administered my shot and I came back. And when I came back, I said, I'm not going back to medicine. I am going to change the laws. Never again would I want to see anybody whose life is jeopardized and is being denied medication for money. I paid insurance all my life, and when I needed it most, I could not get it. But because I was a physician, I knew my medication and I had the resources. I am alive and moving all my limbs. But there's so many people out there who can't, and people die. People die based on this corruption in a country with plenty where the sick people cannot get their medicine that they need to live. So that was my turning point. And here I am running for Senate and still fighting.
You often speak about restoring integrity and accountability in government. What specific reforms would you champion in the U.S. State Senate to increase transparency and rebuild public trust?
Well, I did try to run for the state one time and the US Congress. And I ran in 2024 and I lost to election fraud. So the integrity is not just healthcare, it's at every level of the government, especially got worse during the Biden era because a lot of responsibilities were being sent out of the country, and where there's no regulation and no oversight. So the reform would be at several levels in every area of our life and in every section of the government, the municipalities, the county, the state. The system has become, and that's why my book was Democracy for Sale. The system has become where the politicians are not working in the interest of people. It's not democracy, which means government by the people, for the people, of the people. It has become whoever pays gets things approved. And does that mean robbing the people? Yes. So it is the people who will have to want this change. It is the people who have to vote the establishment out. So the root cause is to start where people realize that it is their responsibility, that the government has to work for them. If the people continue to keep voting the officers that have not helped them, that have brought Florida into this situation and our country into this situation, we cannot change. So the main thing, the first thing is public awareness. So the first thing is elect the right person. Elect the person who you can trust, and that will bring back the trust in the government. And further, the integrity will come because if the elected public officer is working for the interest of the people and not for special interests. And that's what I stand for. I'm the voice of the people at the Senate. I am not getting any big monies like my opponent, who's the current senator, has 7.5 million in the first month of her campaign announcement. And as per the philosophy by Confucius, it says that such a effect in election means they've sold their soul. And that's where I want people to realize that if some candidate has millions of dollars, it doesn't mean they're good candidates. It just means they're more corrupt candidates. So make your choice intelligently and wisely. So the route for the change is the voters.
Political divisions remain a significant challenge across the country. What does a more unified America look like to you, and what role should elected officials play in bringing people together?
Very important question. Our country is so divided. It's total polarization of the country based on what is your political choice. And this is where we have to make a change. We cannot be loyal to any party to the extent that it's being an extremist. It should not be tit for tat. One of us has to step up and be wise. So we not only need world peace, we also need peace domestically. So the main solution is education. Teach our kids to be tolerant, to be able to understand that there are different people with different ideas. There is always a range of parabola. So stay in the middle, and that's what I am. I'm in the middle, where every law should be fair to the people. We cannot allow non-enforcement. We cannot allow people working for their interest financially or any other uh, benefit that they might be getting. So the integrity of the laws to the fairness of the people should be bipartisan. Both parties have to understand we have to keep up the democracy, and we have our goals where people are the voters whose interest comes first.
In your view, what are the most pressing issues facing Floridians today, and how would you work to address them if elected to Senate?
Well, the most pressing issues that I feel Floridians have had it is is basically corruption at every level. If they have to go to get medicines, there's so much corruption in the pharmaceutical industry. You have to go get gas. The gas prices keep going up. Somebody is benefiting, and it's the way the Senate is supposed to do the oversight and create the proper laws so that everything is in a manner that such chaos doesn't happen is not being done. The democracy needs a process, and we have current senators who have no clue about the process. They don't know what bills to put in, they don't know what process to follow, and it's failing our government, and the people are suffering. All inflation is going crazy up, and there is the whole government is out of control. To bring back that control for Florida, it's important that the voters elect people who know how to administer a democracy government. So the main issue still comes to the choice of voters, because if they don't vote right, we will stay in chaos. And that's the main thing is a lot of corruption.
Through your experience during public health emergencies and natural disasters, what lessons have you learned about government preparedness and responsiveness?
So we've had, several types of emergencies. Uh, we had the COVID, which was a medical emergency, and I believe everybody was trying their best. But in the end, I believe there were a lot of people at the official level, especially when it came to COVID vaccination. The recommendations were not in the interest of people. The recommendations was to make money for the pharmaceutical companies. So they were recommending more and more and more and more boosters. Just because a little bit is good, more is not better. Because with vaccinations, when we give a booster, we're raising the antibody, and to one point, it will become a lethal dose. So people will get side effects or low grade disease or other issues or full blown disease. But the lawmakers do not know the science behind it. So a lot of wrong recommendations kept going out, and a lot of people suffered. And a person came in, he got pericarditis, and 20-some-year-old guy has going to have heart problem for the rest of his life. So it is very important that we control the oversight part. it cannot be where a pharmaceutical paid a doctor and got a recommendation approved. The people of United States suffered. Now we had Florida faced hurricanes, and a lot of people have still not gotten, FEMA coverages and county or state coverages, where again there is a lot of buddy buddy, and it's not about who needs what. There is basically no process that is being controlled or oversight on the people who are administering these grants. So again, we do a good job in trying to be prepared, but when it hits, it's never a satisfactory recovery. And that's where, as a senator, I will make sure that the right processes for the right people are put in place.
Your book, Democracy for Sale, focuses on the influence of money and special interests in politics. What changes do you believe are necessary to ensure that government remains accountable to the people it serves?
So I'm glad you bring that up. And that's where, when the election happened, when I was running for US Congress, they let you, as candidates, they let you see the counting of your votes. So when I went in to see how they were counting, I found out that the Florida machines, they cannot print a ballot. So all the mail-in ballots that come in, they get printed on a plain paper, and they have then a room full of 30, 40 people who copy the ballot. When I went in to see, they let you stand 3 feet away and look at the ballot. I saw a few ballots. All the votes were to me. I come out and I say, boy, everybody's voting for me. I'm going to win. But then I lost. That's when I analyzed. In front of me, they were circling me. Who's to know who they circled? So a lot of election fraud was not only, the mail-in ballots that were not valid and dead people, but they were also being changed while after they're being cast. So there is no control. So whoever pays the big bucks gets to win. So what President Trump is trying to do, and the current senators are not approving it, the Save America Act would have controlled the problem somewhat. But because the senators who are sitting there, because of the election fraud, they're not going to vote against it. Otherwise, they're not going to win again. So again, it is the public education now. They have to see through the problem. And again, the ball falls in the court of the voters. Select the right people, officers that are doing this, do not select them again. That's all I can say on that.
Many Floridians are concerned about affordability, including housing, healthcare, and everyday living expenses. What policies or initiatives would you support to improve their quality of life?
So there are a lot of problems happening in the people who needed the grants. But there is the reason why a lot of grants were stopped, because they were being used by illegal immigrants. So the process needs to be streamlined, where we can screen out people that do not use the money that cannot use the money that is meant for the Americans who need help, help with housing, help with the Medicaid, uh, uh, food for school kids, SNAP benefits. So that's where the Senate sitting there, the current sitting senators didn't do their jobs. If it would have been done, we wouldn't have been facing this crisis. Our crisis for housing, healthcare, and other special needs people is suffering because our current senators do not know what to do not know how to handle it. It's their incompetence that the general public is suffering. As soon as I get into the office, that would be my priority to streamline the process where our Americans do not suffer because their grants were robbed from the illegal by the illegal people. So it has to be fair to everybody. Right now we just have blanket executive orders because that's all the president could do to for the safety of Americans, but it has to be streamlined by the Congress, the Senate, which is not being done. So that is something I will fix.
You have expressed support for the America First agenda while also emphasizing fairness and compassion. How do you balance those priorities in addressing the needs of diverse communities across Florida?
Well, that's what I am trying to say, that we need both. We need the compassionate side to the first America First agenda, and that's where we have to have specific language, limitations, specifications of every law that we're trying to enforce, where normal, innocent people are not hurt. You are walking in a mall or any place else, people just don't get arrested. Our constitutional rights have to be uh, protected in all the laws, and our civil rights have to be protected. So every law has to be streamlined with specifications and limitations. And that's what I'm going to bring into the Senate.
If elected, how would you measure success during your first term in the Senate, and what tangible improvements would you hope Floridians experience as a result of your work?
As a result of
Your work.
um, so like I said, I feel that a lot of new legislation has been done by the president, and I do believe his intention is for the interest of the people. President Trump is the people's president, but the process which the Senate and the Congress is supposed to do, they are actually antagonizing President Trump. So I want to stand by President Trump, support his view, support his vision, but make sure that every law and every process is done in a democratic way as per the rule of law, so that there is no question about, oh, we're going to impeach, oh, we're going to do this, because everything has to be done right. And with my knowledge and skills and my experience, I know how to get that done. Every move that's taken by the president is for the interest of the people. So that's going to be my motto too, along with the president, that the people come first. The people would have their voice in the government. So if anybody has any issue, I will always be available to those concerns of the public so that proper legislation or proper relief can be given to the people. So my success would be more from the feedback of the communities and the state that I'm going to be serving.
Looking ahead, what message would you like to share with Floridians who may feel disconnected from the government or uncertain about the future of the country?
What I would say is democracy is a government of the people, for the people, by the people. So, to such people who have lost trust and who are worried about the future, they have to do their responsibility. Wake up, smell the coffee, look what's happening and why it's happening. Remove the establishment, remove the swamp. The change is in your hand. We are your voice. We're running to be your voice. And we will be there to be your voice if you select the people who are wanting to serve you. Not elect the people who do not know what to do, who are not educated enough, who are not skilled enough, and who are just trying to use their political influence to get into the office. So I would say that the voters have to basically become more aware to bring the change and to be able to bring that trust back into the government, to have the right people doing the right job at the right office level. That's what I would say.